Hi everyone, trust you all are doing well. So what we're going to do in this one, we finished actually off with the edit view that we created, right? This one in the previous episode, and we actually updated our update method in the previous episode as well. So just make sure you bring in the tag request as request, and we pass in the tag as well as a parameter in there, right? And then we dispatch the job update tag from the request, but we haven't created this update tag yet. And also the static method we haven't created inside the job yet. So that's what we're going to do in this job. And then we're going to see if we can actually dispatch the job, update it accordingly. All right, so let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is open up our terminal. And then we're going to create basically that job. All right, so PHP artisan make job. And we're going to call this one update tag. Just like this. All right, so then press enter. As you can see, job is successfully created. All right, in order to go there, you can go to app jobs, or if you have in Visual Studio Code, you can just go to the shortcut, so up tag like that. All right, so now we're in that tag right here. All right, so we got a constructor. All right, let's create a new job instance. All right, so let me just delete this. I'm just deleting the block quotes. All right, you can keep them, totally up to you. Right, then the first thing that I want to do is I need to create a private variable for basically the tag. So private tag. Next one will be for the image, for the name actually. We got the name, and the other one will be for the image. And the last one will be for the description. All right, obviously you have to keep making sure that we spell things correctly, because if you spell them one way here and otherwise there, basically PHP won't know which variable you're referring to. Just make sure that you spell them correctly. Right, in our constructor, we just want to pass in the tag model. Just make sure you import it at the top there, okay? As tag. Next one. I like to kind of, if I set them according to my private variables like this, okay, then I will keep them the same order in the constructor in the same order right here, just to kind of keep things consistent. All right, so if someone sees a name right here, they're not going to look at the last place where the name is. They kind of know it will be at the second place. Just a tip. Okay. This one will be the string, and that will be for the name. The second one is the image, and I will make this optional string for image. And then a string for the description. You see, I almost spelled it incorrectly there. So there we got our description. All right, and then we set basically this tag to the tag. And I'm going to do the same for the rest. All right, so just make sure that you put them in the same order that you put them in there. All right, the next thing that we want to do is we just want to create a public static function. And in this one is basically, if you go to the tag controller right here, you see this update from the request. So this static method is the one that we're going to create in here. All right, so let's quickly do that from the request like this. All right, the first thing that we're going to pass in here is the tag. Okay, so we need to know which tag. And then we bring in the tag request. Just make sure you import this at the top as well. Right, as you can see, it's imported right there. Just pass it as the request. Self like this. All right, just make sure you bring in that tag request right there. All right, so I'm making sure I imported it. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to return basically a new static. So return new static. All right, so there's a couple of things. As you can see, I'm already getting my code editor is already letting me know it's expecting 4 arguments. All right, so the first one will be obviously the tag. Okay, so let's do that. So the tag, the second one will be the request, the name. Okay, and then for basically the request image and description. Okay, all right, so we got that all set up. All right, so now we need to obviously process our job. So let's quickly do that. So this is basically the tag we need to pass in. So we're expecting a tag to be handled. As you can see, expect type tag found void. Okay, so that means there's nothing there. Right? We basically just need to return the tag. Okay. But what we want to do first is we want to get the tag that we need to update. Okay, so tag.update. Okay, so when we get that tag, we want to update a couple of things. Right, we want to update the name of the tag. Yeah, I'm just moving it up so that you guys can easily see it. So to this name like this. And we want to do that same thing for the description. Let me just move it a bit up like that. So this, the description. Okay. Right, the next part is quite important because sometimes you don't want to update the image. Right, so let's say the author or whoever the admin might be doesn't want to update basically image. They want to keep the image the same, but they want to only change the name and the description. Well, we want to give them the option. Otherwise, when we update the image, we might get an error to say the image is null. Right? So in order to fix that, what we will do is we will check if the image is not null. Okay, so is null, is not null, right? And we just pass in this image. Like that. So now we're checking if the image is not null. Okay, so if the image is not null, so it means there is a file to check. Listen, I want to actually update the image. So what I want to do is I want to delete basically the old image. All right, let me just, if I can type. All right, so I'm going to call a file delete. Now the file delete will basically delete an image. This is just a facade helper to be able to delete files. Right, now let me explain to you first. Let's go to the storage app public tags. You will see there is the old image that's being stored by the previous tag. All right, so when we actually want updated, I want to delete this old file first. Or you can delete it afterwards, but it's totally up to you. But what I want to do, I want to delete this file first, and then I want to save the new file right here. Okay, so let's do that. So file delete. So what I want to do, I want to go to the storage path. Okay, in the storage path, I want to go to the app / and basically concatenate this tag image. Just remember, we don't actually save the image in the database. We only save the path to that image in the database. Right? So that's why I want to concatenate the app plus this tag image, because when we save the tag in the database, we save it as app, actually as public tags and this name. So that's basically how we save it in the database. If you only save basically this part right here, you need to actually provide that storage path right here and then that right there. Okay, so it's totally up to you how you want to do it. But if you're following how I did it, you can just do this. Right, so now we're deleting that, but let me just make sure I bring in the facade as well for that image. So the image eliminate support facade file. Just make sure we bring that file in as well. Otherwise, we're going to get that error. Right. So then after that, basically what I want to do, I want to bring in my save image service provider. Okay, the service that I created and upload the image. Then I want to pass in this image. Okay, so that means the new image that I got in, all right, and this tag to know which model, okay, and then I want to just basically do the tag table like that. All right, so we save that basically. So this is basically the facade and just the service provider, but just make sure you bring it in right here. So as you can see, my services is included right there. Right, so we delete the file. So if it's null, we skip this part. All right, if it's not null, then we delete the file, then we save the image. All right, so after that, what we want to do is basically just return this tag like that. All right, but there's things, as you can see, we don't do tag save in this one. Okay, the reason for that is because we update the tag right there, okay, in one shot. All right, so we don't need to do that. All right, so that means I just want to update my service save image service as well. Right, so let's quickly go there. So in our save image service, I basically just want to do a model save like this. So that means if any model, so let's say this is a post model, it will just save it before it goes anyway. Right? If we don't do that, basically it will set the path, but it won't actually save that path of that image. All right, so let's just do that as well. So let's just save it. All right, so let's close this off. Right, so now when we create basically a tag, it will set the name, description. If the image is there, delete the old file, set the new one, and return the tag. Okay, now there's another thing. As you can see, there's no slugs in here. So let's quickly go to the app observers, our tag observer right here. And let's go to the updated right here. And I'm just going to copy this down to here as well. So basically when the tag is updated, get that tag and set the new slug to that slug name and then save the tag as well. Right, so let's close this off. Right, so now we got that all done. Okay, since we updated this part right here to save it in there, we can actually go to our create tag and we can actually delete this right here, because you can leave it there, no problem. All right, but it will save the tag and save it again. This will really not necessary, so we can just delete it right there. And this can be lowercase, like that. All right, so now that is basically the create tag. So now basically our tag can update. So let's test it to make sure that we can actually delete this image as well in our public folder right here when we update the tag. All right, so I'm in my dashboard right now. As you can see, this is all the tags. Let's quickly go to this one right here, the name one. Let's click the edit. As you can see, it goes to that URL for tags, name, edit. Now, the thing is, I didn't specify in my routes file if it needs to use the ID or anything like that. I just want to show you to the new users just quickly something. Right, the reason why I don't need to specify it in my tag model, I just get the route key name when we just return the slug. Right, so I don't need to specify it. Let's quickly go to our web routes. I don't need to come here, and actually in this case, let's go to the admin routes. I don't need to come and specify, let's say / I know this is a resource route, but I just wanted to show you guys something. I don't need to come here and specify the slug or the name or whatever. I just kind of set them by default basically in the model itself. Right, enough of that. Let's quickly go back. Right, so in here, let's quickly update it without the image. Let's just see if we can just put an X actually at the back so we know we can update that. So let's quickly press update. Right, so let's press update. Right, so as you can see, we got the name and the slug being updated accordingly. Right, so let's quickly try and update the image. Right, so let's quickly change this to any image. Let's go to image here, so let's just quickly get that image. Right, so let's update that and see if we actually delete the old one. So, all right, so as you can see, the old one is this one right here with the ZK2, one of my actually templates for YouTube. All right, so let's quickly see if we actually delete that one and update it. All right, the tag has been updated, so let's quickly see if the image is updated as well. All right, so let's go to app, public, tags. You will see the Z1 is deleted and we will see our new image right there. All right, so that's it from me, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a like. And please leave any comment or any questions that you guys might have. Please leave it for me in the comment section. And what we're going to do in the next one is we're going to basically delete the tag. And when we delete the tag, we're going to make basically create a job for that. And we're going to do the same thing. So we just want to make sure that we delete this image in here as well when we delete actual tag. Right. Anyways, that's it from me, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a like. And I'll see you in the next one. Adios.